Hi everybody, welcome back to Small Caliber Arms Review. I'm Richard, and today we're going to be taking a look at a Henry Big Boy. This one is in 44 Magnum or 44 Special. It's also available in 45 Colt, 38 357, 41 Magnum, and 327 Federal Magnum. And believe it or not, it is S.A.S approved. That's a Single Action Shooters Society, or for Cowboy Action Shooting. I don't see a lot of people use Henrys in Cowboy Action Shooting, but you can do it, and there's plenty of these available in a bunch of different calibers, a bunch of different configurations, and they're made here in America, or not made at all is what they say. This has got the brass alloy receiver on it, a blued octagon barrel. This is the Big Boy Classic. Holds 10 rounds of 44 Magnum or 44 Special, and we're going to put some Armscore Cowboy Action loads in here, and we're going to try some Winchester 44 jacketed soft points. These are set up for black bear and deer. Hopefully we don't encounter either one of those out there on the range, but let's take a little bit closer look at it before we get it out there. All right, now this one is a loaner, so it doesn't belong to me, but the owner has put a hammer extension on here, and I mean, it just makes it a little easier to get a hold of the hammer. You can have one chambered in there and leave it uncocked, and that way when you're out hunting with it, all you got to do, you see a deer or whatever, you can just pull the hammer back and go, instead of cocking it, which makes enough noise, may scare the deer off. It is drilled and tapped on the top for scope. It does have a semi-buckhorn rear sight on it with a little white diamond and a brass bead front sight on it there. There's the magazine tube. It's got a big old cutout there for your rounds. Just give a little twist with that lug, pull it up until your follower clears there, drop them in. You might want to be a little more careful with this, with these bigger rounds sliding down in there. They have a little more weight, and if you have anything that's pointed on the end, I've never heard of it with the newer Henry rifles, but there's a potential to set off the round and have a chain fire in your tube. I don't know, like I said, I don't know if that's ever happened with any of the newer Henrys, but it's always a possibility. It's lever action, and to get in here and clean this thing, I'm not going to go into that because Henry website actually has really good detailed videos on showing you how to disassemble this thing and get it cleaned up and how to reassemble it. But what I would suggest, if you're going to get one of these, just, you know, if you're going to take it out and do a couple shots with it or whatever to clean in between those, get you a bore snake and run it through there. Whole lot easier, and you don't have to worry about taking your rod and pushing anything down through the end of the barrel and all your debris winding up in your action there. It's really smooth. This one's been used a little bit. There is some wear on the bolt there, a little bit of wear on the finish there, so it's this is not a brand new gun, but it's a good gun, and we're going to take it out on the range and give it a few shots. All right, everybody, we're back out here in the saloon, and I've got the Henry Big Boy with me, and I'm going to get it loaded up with 10 rounds of this Armscore 44 Magnum Cowboy loads. Now, these are a 240 grain lead Cowboy Action round. They are kind of a semi-wad cutter, I guess you'd say, just fully lead, because Cowboy Action Shooting does not allow any jacketed ammo. And we're going to go ahead and get our 10 rounds loaded up in here. And I've got a couple of these little 50-yard small bore rifle targets set up there, one at 7 yards and one at 15 yards. I have not shot this, so I don't know where the sights are set for, but we're going to take 5 shots at each one of the targets up there and see how it does. To load them up, just pull your tube out till the follower clears that opening, and then drop your rounds down in there. Let them slide down in there a little bit. And then once you've got them in, go ahead and take your tube, push it down, turn it till that little lug locks in there, and then cock it and you're ready to go. All right, now one of the things you're definitely going to want to do is have eyes and definitely ears on with this thing, because it's 44 Magnum and it tends to bark. I'm going to take the first 5 shots at the 7 yards, and we'll see what happens. Okay, there's my 5 shots. 1, 2, 3, 4, there's 5 there. Cuts a nice clean hole with those rounds in there. And I'm only at 7 yards, so yeah, it's gonna be you know, the accuracy should be great. It was offhand shooting. Now we're going to take some shots at that 15-yard up there with the last 5 rounds I've got loaded in. All right, I've already got a round in the chamber, so all I got to do now is pull the hammer back, and that is the safety, just having the hammer down. This does not have a half cock position in it. So pull the hammer back and it's ready to fire again. Believe it or not, that was 5 shots. I forgot to film the first 2, and then I was going to turn the camera around. Anyways, let's go look at the target. Okay, there's my 5 shots. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. That one there tumbled. The other 4 are nice, perfectly round cut holes in that target. That one tumbling, I'm not sure what happened there, but it shoots pretty good. Now, if you're going to be using this for cowboy action shooting, you're probably going to be shooting at distances like this, and you're going to be shooting at a target a lot bigger than this. Usually it's a steel target. I think they're like 12 by 18, and this is only like a, I don't know, 8 by 10 piece of paper, somewhere around there. So it does pretty good if you want to use this for cowboy action shooting. If you're going to use it for hunting, let's take it up to the rifle range and shoot some 50-yard targets. All right, I've got the Henry big boy out here on the range, and I've got some Winchester 44 Remington Magnums here, 240 grain. These are a jacketed soft point for deer and black bear. Now, it wasn't that long ago that Ohio was a shotgun and muzzleloader hunting state for deer, and when they said, hey, now we can use straight wall cartridges, the Henrys, the big boys like this, were flying off the shelf, because now it opened up a whole other class of firearms that we could use to hunt deer here. I've got a sight-in target set at 50 yards, and I don't know where this is sighted in at. It's not my rifle, but we're going to give it a few shots there at the center of the sight-in target, and we'll do 5 shots on that. And then I've got my 100-yard steel target up there, so we'll do some shots on that thing too. All right, it's ready to go. Now, I'm not going to attempt to shoot offhand at that target, because we're going to see if the rifle's accurate, not me. The deer, it'll be up to them. Anyways, we'll take a few shots at it, and this is open sights on it. I do not have a scope on it, so I get what I get, and then the 100-yard target, we'll be able to hear that from here. All right, now it's pretty windy out here today too, so this is a big round, so I don't think the wind's going to affect it too much, and I'm only shooting at 50 yards, so we'll see what happens with it. And these are a little more powerful load. It's the same bullet weight as the Cowboy Action loads, but those things are loaded a lot lighter. Let's give it a try and see what happens. It's got a little bit of a kick to it with these in there. You seem to drop down the front of my rest here, but it's not terrible. And I'm going to move the camera up there and let you see the rest of the shots. All right, the first one was about an inch and a half to the left, and an inch and a half high too. So like I said, you can see the wind out here blowing, and we're going to give it a few more tries. You see where the other 4 hit. One, two, three, four, 5. That's not terrible. That's definitely within a deer's vitals or a black bear's vitals. It does pretty good at 50 yards. It's a little hard to see exactly where I'm aiming at with that bead front sight on there. And 50 yards, when you're focusing on that front sight, this pretty much disappears, but that's not terrible at all. Let's take some 100-yard shots at the steel target. All right, that 100-yard steel target is right up here somewhere, and when I'm looking through the sights there, the front sight is pretty much completely obstructs my view of the steel target, and that's a 12 by 18 up there, I think. So I'm going to try to see what I can do with it, and we'll take a couple shots here in the rest. Then I might try a couple offhands with it. That's a hit. That's a hit. All right, so 100-yard accuracy is pretty good. Let's try it offhand. This will be me, though. All right, that's it. That's 20 shots with the Henry Big Boy. 10 shots down there on the at the saloon for the Cowboy Action people. If you want to look at one of these for getting into cowboy action shooting, these are more plentiful than, say, your 92 Winchesters or your 83 Winchesters. These are available just about anywhere that sells rifles. They are made in America, so they're not Italian reproductions. Not that there's anything wrong with those. I own a couple of them, but it's really a good shooting rifle. And 50 yards, 100 yards, 7 yards, 10 yards, it doesn't matter. It's pretty accurate. There's a little bit of difference between the rounds, so if you're in the cowboy action shooting and want the lighter stuff, the cowboy action loads do great. If you're into hunting, really that sounded like a pretty good impact on that 100-yard steel target down there. So is it capable of taking a deer? Absolutely. Black bear? Sure, why not? But it's accurate, it's made in America, it's a beautiful, nice blued finish on the barrel, octagon barrel, nice finish on the hammer, lever, trigger, nice brass finish on there, and American walnut stock on it. The whole gun is a good quality gun. I like them. Unfortunately, this one's a loaner, and so I got to give it back, but may have to look into getting one of my own. Anyways, if you could, hit this button up here to check out some of my other videos. Hit this button right here to subscribe if you haven't already. And thanks for watching Small Caliber Arms Review.